Friends, we all know that Moon is the only satellite of Earth. We are fascinated to see this beautiful satellite, sometimes like a round dish, sometimes like a broken nail in the night sky. Although it seems to be very close to the Earth, the Moon is actually about 384,000 kilometers away from our Earth. On July 20, 1969, humans first set foot on the Moon and proved that human intelligence and knowledge are not limited to Earth. Scientists are trying to find out all the secrets and facts about the Moon. But the question pops up again and again in all of our minds, and that is what the world of the Moon is like. Is it possible for people to live there? Is it possible to find life on the Moon in the future? Why aren't scientists going to the Moon even though there are so many reasons? Friends, in today's video we will find answers to all these questions, and get to know our Moon better. Before starting the video, all friends who are new to our channel, please subscribe and ring the bell icon next to it. In today's video, friends, first of all, we discuss a little about the origin of the Moon. How did the Moon come to Earth? The Moon is not too young. According to scientists, the Moon was formed about 4.5 billion years ago, that is, only 6 million years after the solar system took its shape. Most scientists today believe that the Moon was born from the Earth, that is, the Moon is actually a child of the Earth. The creation of the world was not yet completed, and then a terrible event happened to the world that later changed the world a lot. At that time, the Sun was surrounded by many clouds of dust, a massive gas that collided with a mass the size of Mars in our solar system. This mass is known as Ea. As a result of this collision, some part of the newborn Earth was thrown into space, but the Earth's gravity pulls the pieces together and it starts orbiting the Earth. This is how the Moon, the only satellite of the Earth, was born. According to NASA, the collision between the newborn Earth and the asteroid involved 100 million times more energy than the time it took to wipe out the dinosaurs from Earth. The Moon has a diameter of 3,474 kilometers and is the fifth largest natural satellite in our solar system. Let us now discuss the surface of the Moon, whose surface is very rough. That is rough, and many pits, ditches and hills can be seen here at places. On September 13, 1959, Lunato was the first lunar mission sent from Earth by Soviet Russia to touch the lunar surface. Then America's Apollo 11 was the first lunar landing, where the spaceship with the astronauts reaches the Moon. The day was July 20, 1969, and it is without a doubt one of the greatest events in human history. Many more Moon missions followed, but after December 1972, humans never went to the Moon again. Standing on the surface of the Moon and looking up, we can see Earth. You can clearly see the Earth spinning on its axis, but its position in the sky is fixed. Moon's gravity is 6 times less than Earth's. In other words, if we go to the Moon, our weight will decrease 6 times. If your weight is 60 kilograms on Earth, then your weight will be only 10 kilograms on the Moon's soil. This is why scientist Neil Armstrong had to jump when he walked on the Moon. Because it is absolutely impossible to walk on the ground of the Moon like the Earth. When the spacecraft returned to Earth after passing through the Moon, they brought back about 296 pieces of rock from the lunar soil. Their weight was about 382 kilograms. The stones were brought so that scientists can discover more new information about the Moon in the future by testing them. Now let's discuss about the day and night of the Moon. It takes about 27 days for the Moon to orbit the Earth once, at about the same time it takes for the Moon to make one revolution around its axis. This is why we always see one side of the Moon while the other side is invisible. Again, a day of the Moon is equal to 14 days of the Earth, and the night is almost the same. However, lunar day and night have a great influence on the objects present on the surface of the Moon. the moon's temperature drops to about -153 degrees Celsius at night and rises to about 180 degrees Celsius during the day. Therefore, the position of different places of the moon also seems to be different. It is believed that the south pole of the moon is colder, where the nights are so cold that it is absolutely impossible for humans to survive. So while the plan to live on the moon is far-fetched, scientists believe that the south pole of the moon does not have much temperature difference during the day. But as the day turns into night, the temperature decreases rapidly. Friends, we are all mesmerized by the soft light of the moon in the night sky, but you will be surprised to know that the moon has no light of its own. Both the moon and the earth are illuminated by sunlight. That is, if the sun never stops giving us light, we will never see the moon again. When the moon revolves around the earth, only one side of the moon is facing the earth, so no human being can see the opposite side of the moon from the earth. But with the help of spacecraft we were able to take pictures of the other side of the moon. During its orbit, the moon tilts at an angle of only 1.54 degrees on its axis, while the Earth tilts at an angle of 23.5 degrees. This causes two things. Firstly, the climate on the moon does not change like that of Earth, and secondly, there are many places on the surface of the moon that never get sunlight. Did not reach because the moon's gravity is so weak. There is no atmosphere on the moon, so there is always the fear of meteorites from the solar wind. There is also the presence of harmful rays caused by radioactive reactions. Since there is no atmosphere, they directly impact the moon, so you can see how absurd the plan to live on the moon in the future is. Friends, India has discovered the existence of water on the moon. Many scientists in India said that water existed on the moon, but no one found it. Although the moon appears round from Earth, the moon is actually slightly oval in shape. The moon is moving 1.6 inches away from our Earth every year. The moon is equipped with a reflector panel that sends out laser beams so that scientists can detect these conditions. In this way, after 50 million years, it will take 47 days for the moon to come around the Earth once. The black spots that we see when looking at the moon from Earth are not actually spots, they are actually hills and craters on the moon. The sun's rays do not reach those places, so they look like black spots from Earth. It can only be hoped that man will set foot on the moon again. Did people ever think in the 50s that they would step on the moon in just 20 years? We all know about the ice that covers most of the moon. And from the presence of iron oxide in the mountains we know that oxygen exists on the moon, but only the future will tell how much it will become habitable for human society. But friends, I hope we could give you a lot of unknown information about the moon in this video. Now comment me which of these facts you're most surprised to know and like the video if you like it and share it with your friends.